Hey everybody, and welcome to AniBreak, the show that breaks down the week's hottest topics in anime, manga, and video games. My name's Jason, and last week, if you guys were watching live, you would have noticed we spent the entire episode on just the upcoming 2013 fall anime season, and well over 40 different titles. New series, a couple returning, some sequels, movies, OVAs. There's a lot to cover. And I couldn't even cover it all within the, I think it was like a 40-minute show last week, so. But we're not going to jump into just more trailers and whatnot this episode. No, we're going to focus starting on all the simulcast information, like who is going to be playing what. And you probably have a good indication of the majority of where they're going to, but I wanted to focus on a couple bits here and there. Let's start off with some of the smaller groups in terms of the simulcast. Let's start off with, I had to throw them all into just one lineup just because there's not much there. I mean, so far, Funimation hasn't really announced much. Viz, the only thing announced from the new fall season is the Coppelian anime, which actually seems interesting. I'll give it a couple episodes. And the reason why I tied these all together is because, well, one, they play a lot of the same stuff. Two, everything that these two companies play is on Hulu. So that's where all their, series are going in terms of streaming. Which means if you don't have a Hulu Plus account, you'll probably be watching these series with commercials. And even if you do have an account, a Hulu Plus account, depending on depending on how you watch it, if you watch it on a tablet or a phone and whatnot, you may still have commercials. It's one of those things of why I don't have a Hulu Plus account. But of course you get some of the usuals, One Piece, Bleach, Naruto Shippuden. I threw Ranma 1/2 in there because if you guys haven't watched it before, it's on there. The first 16 episodes are available right now. You can go to Viz's website or you can go straight to Hulu because it just reroutes to it anyways. And it's a great little show to watch. I mean, the first season did have its ups and downs, but honestly, it had a lot of great stuff, or else it wouldn't have lasted as long as the series did. Not only can you watch stuff on Hulu, but surprisingly, there's actually a few other places. I haven't touched Daisuke yet. I know they have, the Monogatari series, which eventually gets posted on other websites already. But a few other smaller series are actually getting treatment on a couple other sites like YouTube. The Kyoso Giga series, the one about the three kids from another town stuck in this other town. They cause chaos because they're trying to get back home. It's kind of cute. It's streaming right now on YouTube. And the other one you see on here is actually Gundam Build Fighters, the Gunpla anime, as people have been calling it. All these characters, they build different classic Gundam models, and then they put them in a virtual reality arena and they fight. Now, you cannot watch this anywhere else except for on one of the Gundam official pages, which is Gundam.info. This will only be updated on every Monday for a new episode. Now, here's the thing, though. The web admins behind this website state that the anime will be streaming in quote-unquote selected areas in the world. They have yet to get back to like Crunchyroll or Anime News Network to find out if the United States is actually part of that area. If not, if you want to check out this series and you can't stream it on there, either get a VPN or, you might have to wait for the DVD and Blu-ray to pop out. So, if you're a big Gundam fan, that's going to be your, what you're going to be focusing on right there, Gundam.info. But not surprising to anyone is the sheer amount of titles from the fall season that's going straight to Crunchyroll. I mean, Kill La Kill is starting very soon. Valve Rave Season 2, the brand new Ace of Diamonds series, Yowamushi Pedal, which is all about an otaku who is really good at biking because he lives like 20 miles away from Akiba and he bikes there to and from every day after school, ends up getting into a bicycling team. The new Samurai Flamenco that was actually picked up by Aniplex of America. The Galilei Donna, which I didn't understand as much. It's 3 female descendants of Galileo and they're on the hunt or something like that. It's weird. Miss Monochrome, which I will talk about in just a moment because the first episode is available on Crunchyroll right now. Season 2 of Infinite Stratos, Golden Time. I mean, you could see all the titles on there. plus 6 more that they have yet to announce, which is good because there's actually a few titles that we talked about last week that are not on any of these lists so far. It has not been announced for a simulcast streaming. And given that some of these titles start, I don't know, today, some start on the 6th, but most of them started today, on the 2nd in Japan. It's kind of doesn't lead much help. I'm hoping that the announcements will come fast and furious over the next 24 to 48 hours, so we know that a good amount of these other series like Tokyo Ravens has not been announced yet. Hopefully that'll get picked up by, I think, Crunchyroll, most likely. I mean, given the fact you have one by Viz, Funny's doing its own bit with its current running slew of titles, and then Crunchyroll is just everything. So, but that's just an idea of where all the new series are going, and like I said, a few of them have already started, and I actually spent some time today, watched a couple series. Let's start off with the first episode of Miss Monochrome. I brought this up last week. What can they say about this one? Essentially, we talked about it last week. It's based on a Vocaloid that was created for by and for Yui Horie's concerts. And okay, we watched a little bit of it last week, and okay, it's a standard Vocaloid. What do you expect? It's CG Vocaloid. Not much to say about that. But when you get to what they call just the animation, or just a little series, these episodes are really short, only 5 minutes or less, and that's including the theme song. Now, to save time, there's only just the ending theme song. There's no intro. It's just basically a title slate, and then they jump right into the series, given the fact that it's so short. The animation, nothing really to write home about. It's very basic. There's a little bit of trivia in there. I mean, Miss Monochrome, her really oddly designed mansion that she lives in is apparently actually based on one of Yuri Horie's touring sets. So, okay, that's a nice little tie-in with there. I will say this about the voicing, is that if you look online, if you look in the credits, that Miss Monochrome, the character itself, is voiced by Yui Horie. But when you listen to the voice, it's definitely Horie's voice, but it's heavily modified, a la same way you heard GLaDOS' voice in the Portal games. And I can't tell whether or not it was actually done via the vocal synthesizer software, which is quite possible, or like alongside with GLaDOS, they recorded her voice and then digitally altered it and added little bits to it in post. I don't know. I haven't been able to figure out which way it goes. It is kind of cute here and there. I mean, given the fact that each series episode is so bloody short. I mean, aside from the theme song, you're looking at maybe 2.5 minutes of animation. The jokes come very quick. Some fall flat on their face. Some are pretty good. This is going to be something you're not going to be like, oh my god, I must watch this. This is going to be more along the lines of, well, I've watched everything else. I have a few more minutes. Let's watch this. I do find it odd that the main character's apparently friend, I'm guessing best friend, is is a modified Roomba. It's a gold Roomba that wanders around and picks up stuff. That's all it does. And she talks to it like a best friend. It's pretty weird. So yeah, that's Miss Monochrome. Episode 1 is currently available on Crunchyroll. The other one I caught just before we started tonight's episode is Kyoukai No Kanata. I was looking forward to this one. It's like I said last week, there wasn't any episodes of this season that screamed I must watch, but this was definitely one that I was interested in. And I gotta say, right off the bat, KyoAni is right back into the moe blobs that you know and love and you come to expect from this animation studio. You're definitely going to get that in here. The main character, Kuriyama, her name is Mirai. She is definitely a klutz, and she pulls off every single aspect of the moe ideal, I should say, within the first 10 minutes. So you guys can definitely look forward to that if you're a fan of what you normally have been getting from Kyoto Animation or KyoAni. It is very apparent that everything that they've learned in terms of animation styles from Free have been used in this series. It's very flowing. It's very beautiful to watch. Everything from the backgrounds to just the movement of the characters. Now, getting to the dialogue itself, there are a few funny bits here and there. One thing I'm not the biggest fan of so far regarding this first episode is that they'll explain things in passing in a conversation. They won't really say anything directly to the viewer via like a narrative or try to explain something out in full. They would mention stuff between friends in passing. As you know, I'm that, you know, part of this very powerful clan, that my family controls this area. And you don't get any sense of beyond that. Why is that? What exactly do you control? Do you control the area? Do you control the day-to-day life? Do you control just a certain aspect of life? You don't get into a sense of really the backstory of why, you know, these characters are interacting with each other. You get very broad strokes about it. Now, yes, I know it is the first episode, and it, like I said, it is beautiful to look at, and I'm definitely curious about what's going to happen in the next episode. The pacing's pretty well done. It's just explaining things to the viewer is just not all there yet. Now, I'm hoping that in future episodes, at least they go back and explain more. Or is this one of those I'll have to go back and try to find online the actual explanation for some of what's going on? But it's well worth it. The animation, especially of how that I could, and it's not really a spoiler because we said that she can control blood, especially her own blood. And in the trailers, you see her with the sword. Well, that sword comes out of her own blood, and the animation of how she creates the sword and how she utilizes it is by far amazing quality. I really enjoyed those bits here and there. The whole bit with Akihito being the half Yomu, half human, that he's technically immortal. Well, because she has a sword and she has to fight Yomu, and he is half Yomu and is immortal, she basically considers, oh, okay, well, we're in the same high school. You are technically immortal, so I can practice on you. And she'll like stab him like several times in a single week, and you know, through the heart. It didn't make much sense. You had to find out a lot of these things after the fact, which can work in certain narratives, but this one left me a little confused for about half of the episode. So you guys should definitely check this one out. These are the only two that I've seen so far from this season. Both are currently available on Crunchyroll. And once I get more information about those other 6 titles, you'll know about that hopefully by next week. But let's move on to some news that just came out let's see, a couple days ago. All regarding Space Battleship Yamato, or as it was initially translated over in the States when it first came out all those years ago, Star Blazers. It's had a massive resurgence over in Japan, and it's starting to make its way over stateside. It's very cool that this latest series, which is expertly done, the first episode was actually shown at Anime Expo earlier this year, and it was mind-blowing. It was amazing. And what's cool about this series is that the way they presented it in Japan was they'll take 2 or 3 episodes, make a theatrical version of those episodes, show that in theaters like a week or so before those episodes were broadcasted on TV in Japan. That's kind of cool. And the last episode just recently broadcast in Japan, and at the last bit, it made the announcement that there is a brand new film for Yamato that's actually come out. I'm guessing next year. I mean, they only made the announcement that it is greenlit, so production's probably starting just barely. But I'm looking forward to it. You guys can actually pick up the Blu-rays because they are being subtitled with English subtitles. So if you guys are a fan of Star Blazers, you want to check this one out. But kind of tying in with that, I said it was received a massive surge lately. Not did it I can't speak tonight. Not only did it receive this brand new anime, which is brilliant production values, but it also received a live action movie adaptation, which by all reviews so far has been nothing but stellar. And I came across a little bit of news from my friends over at 11 Arts. They kind of helped bring some of the previous anime titles to big screens all across the country. They are bringing Space Battleship Yamato, the live action movie adaptation, to North American theaters this month. That is amazing news. So I probably see a few of you at some of these screenings. It is very limited screenings, however, it is out here. Let's start off from East Coast to West Coast. Cleveland, Ohio is going to get it November 12th. Hawaii is going to get it October 25th to the 31st. So those people are lucky over there. And there are 2 places in California that are going to be showing this. One is in San Francisco at the 4-Star Theater. That's going to be on October 26th. It's a one-night showing. But the Downtown Independent Theater in Los Angeles is actually getting 2 showings. One's on October 19th, which I will do my best to be there at 7:30 p.m. And a second showing will be October 27th at 5 o'clock p.m. These are actually, well, the 19th is on a Saturday. The 27th is on a Sunday. So you have some time to prepare to go check out this movie if you're going to be in the Southern California area. I will definitely be there. You can buy tickets right now. Just go online. You can search for Downtown Independent. Pick up your tickets. It's going to be well worth it. I'm looking forward to this, and I hope to see you guys there. It's going to be amazing. All right. Enough about Yamato for right now. Speaking of movies coming to theaters, there was a new poster or a new flyer, I guess, for the upcoming third Monica movie. People are all abuzz about this because it kind of reveals just a tiny fragment of what to expect from this movie. And all it says really is we could finally meet. Now, what that means in terms of the storyline, people are going absolutely crazy online. People are throwing out theories left, right, and center. People are looking to anything they could possibly think of is online, just based around we could finally meet. Does this mean it's talking about that new character, that new magical girl, Nagisa Momoe? Who knows? I am kind of jealous of Japan right now because certain participating theaters in Japan, with any advanced ticket, there's actually, one of these flyers, some new art, and there's going to be a second batch, and I'm hoping some of these actually make its way stateside. We'll have at least one of 6 different posters with a limited special poster box. That's over in Japan right now. I'm hoping that makes its way stateside. You guys remember when the first 2 Monica movies were shown as a double feature in the States, and of course all over the country, or all over the world I should say, each country actually received a different background for the poster. That's kind of cool. Now I have one, I still have another one to give away, so maybe I'll wait till the third movie release for that, so we'll see. But I just wanted to toss that in there for a little bit. Okay. I want to showcase a trailer for a new film. This was just recently, the trailer was recently released. The announcement of this movie came out a while ago, but there's been no information about it whatsoever. All we know, it's a collaboration between Toei Animation, which is amazing work, and Nitro Plus. Okay, to let you guys know, this is not a Supersonico movie. It's not that at all. It's called Expelled from Paradise, and I'm just going to play the trailer because it's so hard to explain. Yeah, try to figure that one out. We have yet to receive any news about the storyline whatsoever. I mean, all we can get out of that is it's evidently a sci-fi flick. Bashoujo characters, which we all enjoy. The quality is outstanding, at least in the little bits we saw in that trailer, and of course this little image I grabbed from their official website. The little bits that we do know is the film was directed by Seiji Mizushima. That name should sound familiar because he's worked on Fullmetal Alchemist, Mobile Suit Gundam 00. The person who wrote the script for this is Gen Urobuchi. I mean, Otaka, for crying out loud. So it makes me wonder, this is going to be kind of crazy out there. I'm guessing almost a slight sense of like Psycho-Pass, which also begs the question, who's going to die? Someone's going to die in this series, or this movie, I should state. And it'll probably be someone that the fans will get to know and love, and then just like Joss Whedon rips it out of there and like, oh my, no. So we'll see what happens. All we know is those two little facts, and that it's slated for a 2014 release in Japan. No idea what to expect other than that. Although at the Tokyo International Anime Fair in March, they were already showing some posters, some concept art, and they already have a prototype for a figure. And I went, oh man, I'm already hooked by the design and the ideas behind the trailer. And now they already have figures, and it's, oh geez. Yeah, it's going to be kind of scary. But speaking of kind of scary is how popular this next one we're going to talk about, this a web-based, it's a browser-based game called Kantai Collection, or KanColle is for short. It's a free-to-play online social card game starring anthropomorphic moe battleships. Where have we heard this before? But this is actually really blown up. It's created part and parcel between DMM and Kadokawa Games. And because it's browser-based, there is no English translation. There's no English patch for it. But there are a slew of websites out there that try to translate it for you as you go along. And it's funny with the battleships, of course, they're moe girls that are based on World War II era Japanese ships and submarines. Of course, it has to be that tie in there somewhere. So you get some history in there. You get, of course, the more moe the girls are, the more popular they're going to be, the more they're going to be used, and who knows what to expect from this. Give you a little idea of what's going on. You basically use these cards that you create using resources that you get from battles, and this is just an idea of one of the battles that you can actually go through. I mean, because it's browser based, you're not going to expect much in terms of animation, but it is actually fully voiced, so you have that little bit going for it. Now, why am I bringing this up is because not only is there well over 100,000 people actually playing this in Japan right now, but it received a number of announcements recently that just keep on getting bigger and bigger. First off, there's going to be a light novel based on the game. And this is by the same author who worked on Camphor. So I enjoyed Camphor, so I like that. Then, that's in November. In this upcoming December, there's going to be a manga adaptation for this. And then next year, there's going to be not only a PS Vita game for this, but also there's going to be an anime adaptation in the works as well. So Kadokawa got a big hit with this online, and apparently there's actually a decent amount of American players as well. But given the fact that this is designed for Japan only, while you can sign up with an English account, in order to play, you need a VPN into a Japanese server. So you have that there. But yeah, it's receiving not only a light novel, but also a manga, a video game on a handheld, and also an anime, all in a very small amount of time. Incredibly popular. I'll give it a shot if I can find a way to play it, but I don't know. I already have too much stuff on my plate right now. So, but that's on its way. Once we get trailers for the game and or the anime, I will definitely post them here on the show. Okay. a little bit of sad news right now. There's a series over in Japan right now. It's called Sazae-san. It's nothing really too fancy. It's based on a comic strip about 3 generations of traditional family. It is been certified as the world's longest running TV cartoon show. Yes, there are cartoons that have lasted longer than The Simpsons. I know it's hard to fathom. Let's give you an idea. This series has been going on for 45 years. And it's absolutely crazy how long this has lasted. Now, here's the thing though, why I'm bringing why it's sad. No, this series is not ending. But starting next month, it will switch from cel-based anime production to full digital production. And why I'm stating this is because this is the last anime series that's in production right now that currently is still using cel-based animation, where they actually paint them and scan them in, each frame at a time. Everything else since the early 1990s have been moving to full digital production. Start off with just scanning and digital coloring, and then it turned into just straight full digital production. So starting next month, there's not going to be any more cel-based anime broadcast. It's kind of sad, actually. It's kind of like when we hear that Disney was going to cease doing 2D hand-drawn animated films and go straight to just digital 3D production. It's the same way I look at it. I mean, it's an art form that needs to be kept around. I mean, it's the basics. It's the base for everything that's been brought up before. It needs to be kept. So, oh well. But yeah, next month, Sazae-san is going to go from cel animation, like hand-drawn animation, to full digital production. So, a little bit of news there. Kind of sad. Hopefully somebody will come around and say, we're going to make this a feature and do this entire thing in cel production. Who knows? All right. Now, according to an article on ANN, I was kind of curious about this, and I think you guys will be as well. It's from Dengeki G's magazine. They confirmed some information. You look on that cover and you're like, okay, I see Angel Beats, and then I see Little Butchers as well. Is this a crossover? No. They have the scoop of confirming that an Angel Beats video game has been greenlit and approved. So the talk about having an Angel Beats video game has been in the works, online in terms of talking on Twitter and speculation ever since 2010, when Visual Arts president Takahiro Baba actually talked about the possible adaptation. Jun Maeda actually said the same thing. But it has been confirmed now that there is going to be an Angel Beats video game in the works. I'm very hopeful for this. I really enjoyed Angel Beats, and I'm hoping that this game will either A, my Japanese will get good enough so I can actually play it in Japanese, or B, I hope there's going to be an English adaptation brought over stateside very, very quickly after its release in Japan. So that's on its way out. Speaking of video games in Japan, you had the Tokyo Game Show and a bunch of information came out of there. We're only going to talk about a few things, some anime-based, some not. We've talked before about Shonen Jump's J-Star's Victory Versus game. Think Smash Brothers Melee, but all Shonen Jump characters. We already know that you get characters from Naruto, Bleach, Rurouni Kenshin, Gintama, Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho, the list goes on and on. But we now actually have information about a new series of characters actually going to join. And from the Mecha Box series, they're all heading into this game. They're all playable. I'm looking forward to it. And as a little side note, when this information was announced, apparently there's a new light novel coming out called Mecha Box Juvenile, basically a prequel. Now there is a preview of this light novel online. Granted, it is all in Japanese, but hopefully a translation will be popping up sometime in the near future. I really enjoyed that series. I'm not sure why. It was almost like Dragon Ball Z meets high school. It was odd. Speaking of Tokyo Game Show, you can't have a year go by in for TGS without an AVA game being announced or released or just talked about. And of course, this year is no exception. Bushiroad made the announcement they are in the works for creating a Neon Genesis Evangelion mobile smartphone game for Android and iOS devices. It's going to be slash RPG slash puzzle adventure game. So you have the adventure part, I'm guessing, is you go ahead and actually fight the angels bit by bit. But they, of course, have to add other bits where you have to create bonds between all the pilots. Of course, you're going to have that in there. It's from Japan. What do you expect? I'm looking forward to this to at least see what's going to come out of it. Am I ever going to play this? Probably not. Is it ever going to be ported over to the States? Probably not. It is still very cool to see, especially because it's going to have an original scenario, over 200 2D art assets, 200 brand new pieces of art in the AVA universe are going to be created just for this game. That alone is worth a look. I mean, the fact that it's going to boast 3D battle environments and angels, but it's going to be on iOS and Android devices. What can you expect from that? Really not much. The 2D artifacts, that I'm looking forward to. Also, a little bit that was announced, Final Fantasy IV, The After Years, is actually going to receive a remake. This was actually originally released as an episodic game on phones over in Japan. Then it was ported over to Nintendo WiiWare and eventually PSP. But it is getting a visual overhaul similar to what Final Fantasy IV received on the Nintendo DS. But The After Years, this version, is actually going to be released in the United States on iOS and Android devices this winter. So if you're a fan of this game, a fan of anything Square Enix has ever released, you're going to want to pick this one up. Good times. Well, I want to jump over to a Kickstarter game, actually. And we've talked about it numerous times before. We're talking about Mighty Number 9. I mean, it's Keiji Inafune. I mean, some of the greatest games that Capcom's ever came out came from this guy. And of course, he left to create his own games here and there, and he started working on Mighty Number 9, and he's created this Kickstarter. I want to create a game that's essentially the spiritual successor to Mega Man, and initially wanted $900,000. Oh my god. People blew through every single one of the stretch goals that they could possibly throw up. I'm going through some of them. Not only is this game going to be available on Windows, also on Mac, also on Linux. It's also going to have ports available for the PS Vita, the Nintendo 3DS, the PS4, and the Xbox One. Not to mention the PS3 and the 360 and the Wii U. This is going to be on everything. I cannot believe that. There's going to be additional bonus levels, a chiptune soundtrack, an online battle race mode has actually been unlocked, I guess to say. Challenge mode, a making of documentary, additional stages. I mean, these levels, as soon as they were released, it was just picked up by all the fans. Now, unfortunately, the Kickstarter is over, so you cannot donate via Kickstarter and get some of the really cool perks, but you can actually still donate via PayPal if you want to. You won't just get any of the perks though. But over this request of just $900,000, he received well over $4 million. So this game is going to be on everything, and it's going to look good. They actually released this little initial evaluation test to see how it would look with the Unreal Engine. I mean, this is just placeholders, but honestly, if I can get a Mega Man game that looks this good, oh, I'm so happy. It's going to be amazing. So for those of you who backed it on Kickstarter, fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this myself when it comes out. But hopefully this is just the start for Inafune, and he's going to see that this worked out really well and continue to make great games going the Kickstarter route. All right, few things to mention before we wrap up. A couple of Nendroids were finally announced. well, they were teased before, but now we have some actual images. First up, from Rosen Maiden, Shinku is finally getting an Nendoroid. And she's cute. I mean, what do you expect from a Nendoroid? They're always going to be little bits that you can actually interact with. She is going to come with her case, so you can, have her take a nap or whatnot, even though she's not going to fit in there, obviously. But she is going to be available this December for about 4,800 yen. So just probably about $50. Let's say it on to be safe. She does come with 3 changeable facial expressions. So she even has her cute doll face with her eyes closed. So I mean, you can be able to reenact some of her iconic moments. But the one I'm looking forward to the most. It's been teased for so long. They were even just showing images of this character's Nendoroid just from the back. They wouldn't show the face. And now we know why. Good Smile made the announcement that they are finally going to release Tomoko from Watamote. And let me showcase some of the images. They got the face down pat. I mean, the bags under the eyes, the worried expression, it's perfect. Now, thankfully, like with most Nendoroids, it comes with additional faces. So you kind of get this one where she's going to be a little on the pervy side because it's Tomoko. She kind of does that. But the one I was worried about the most, and because it was so hard to consider how to create this certain face, but they got it just right when she freaks out. Oh, that's going to be perfect. I kind of have to get this one. Thank you, Good Smile, for spending more of my money. How perfect is this? She's going to receive a bunch of additional props, and of course, these 3 faces. If you're a fan of this series, you're going to you have to pick this one up, if anything, for that 3rd face. Because, like most Nendoroids, you can interchange bits and pieces, including the face. So I want to see what happens when you throw that freaking out face on a bunch of other Nendoroids. Oh, I cannot wait for that one to come out. I believe pre-orders are starting very soon, if not already. Good Smile, you always want to spend all my money. So probably looking around, I'm guessing March for this one. So you have some time to save up, and probably around the $50 mark. That's about average for these figures. So the last bit, this was a limited edition piece of collectible. Let's call it that. And actually really nice, actually. It is a one-piece digital watch. This is limited to 3,000 units, and I would not be surprised if most, if not all, are already sold out. So, the wristwatch displays one of 48 images every hour from the anime and manga series of One Piece. So, this is an officially licensed product. I think it's actually kind of nice. Now, the screen is an active matrix EPD screen. I'm surprised it's not, like an e-ink screen, but okay, yeah. Some of the scenes that are actually available, you can go online and find them, and they're actually kind of cool. But given the price for this, I mean, yes, I know it's limited edition, and One Piece is absolutely everywhere in Japan. It is $600. Yeah, I definitely can't afford that, but it looks very nice. And if you are an otaku with a crap load of extra money, here's something you should definitely jump on. The things that people can come up with for collectible items is still amazing. All right, well, that's going to be it for this episode of AniBreak. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you guys have been enjoying it, you can catch us every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. You can also catch me on every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific for From Our Mother's Basement with my good friend Michael Underwood. And hopefully he finally watched not only the second episode of Fangasm, but also Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So we can actually talk about that this week. Maybe some spoilers, but it should be enjoyable nonetheless. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. Stay tuned for post-show. And for AniBreak, I'm Jason. We'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.